Shalom, shalom. I want to start off this video by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well, where I learn is truth, the 100% truth according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the Lord's elect, the 144,000, the men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four winds of the earth. And also shalom to you sincere believers out there that believe in the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy. Shalom. And in today's video, I'm actually titling it, many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, right? Because we're definitely living in a time of season of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai getting ready to pour out these major plagues upon the planet earth. And one of those plagues that the Lord is going to send out is famine, right? Which I have, typed in here on the AI overview on Google, the meaning of famine. And what popped up was famine is the most extreme and catastrophic form of a hunger crisis. It is a technical classification indicating that an entire geographic area is experiencing extreme food shortages, leading to widespread acute malnutrition, starvation, and death. Right. And this is ultimately what's getting ready to come down the pipeline here soon. Right. In these latter days, man, upon this earth. Right. And I'm going to actually be building off of this article that I got here, as you can see, that was posted on this news website, Natural News, and the title says the United Nations Strait of Hormuz disruption could trigger global food price crisis within a year. Right, so they're basically saying due to that whole situation that's going on over there in Western Asia, the so-called Middle East, as they call it, between America, Iran and Israel, that conflict that's constantly brewing up and going on, that ultimately is going to bring about famine, which we know that, these things are coming, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is definitely getting ready to bring these things down the pipeline upon the earth, you see. So famine is coming, right? So I'm going to go down into this article and we'll read some of it, and then I'll grab some scriptures, and Lord's willing, it's edifying to you brothers and you sisters out there that may come across this video, right? But I'm going to start at the top. It says the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, right, the FAO, warned that the ongoing disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could trigger a global food price crisis within 6 to 12 months, right? So this thing is coming soon, man, right? In a report released on Wednesday, May the 20th, the agency described the situation as the beginning of a systemic agri-food shock requiring immediate action by governments and farmers to stabilize fertilizer supplies, shipping routes, and agricultural production. The warning comes amid a U.S.-Israeli military conflict with Iran that has effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, a 21-mile-wide choke point through which about 20% of the world's oil and a significant share of liquefied natural gas normally flows. According to shipping data cited by multiple reports, right? Tanker traffic through the waterway has become irregular, and insurance for vessels attempting passage is virtually unattainable, right? It says the FAO's May 20 report identified the Strait of Hormuz disruption as a primary trigger for potential food price increases, right? Which we've already been seeing that going on here in Babylon the Great, where you got the prices of goods going up in these stores drastically, prices of chips, drinks, and all of these various things are going up, and it's only going to increase, ultimately leading up to this famine, man, right? It says, let's keep reading. It says, I'll read from the top. It says the FAO's May 20 report identified the Strait of Hormuz disruption as a primary trigger for potential food price increases. The agency stated that the crisis threatens fertilizer supplies, right? And you already had the farmers here in Babylon the Great America, right? You had 70% of the farmers here in America already come out and say that due to the shortage of fertilizer and things like that, the crops and things this season is going to be low. So they're not going to be able to produce a lot of, goods as they normally would due to the shortage of fertilizer, right? So you're going to have a lot of empty shells and things of that nature that are going to be coming within the next couple of weeks, days, months, as we ultimately see things continue to escalate with this war that's going on over there in Western Asia, the so-called Middle East, because that conflict between America Israel and Iran, trust and believe, is not going to stop. It's not going to go away. It's only going to heat up more and more, right? So it says that agency stated that the crisis threatens fertilizer supplies, shipping routes, and agricultural production worldwide. It warned that unless rapid stabilization occurs, a global food price crisis could emerge within 6 to 12 months, right? So yeah, man, hey, like they're saying, things out here in the earth soon come are getting ready to take a turn for the worse, right? And the men of the Lord, starting out with the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone, we've been warning our people that, hey, these times are coming, man, and they're getting ready to manifest themselves real soon. And ultimately, it's Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai that's getting ready to bring forth these plagues upon this earth, man, because ultimately we're living in a time of great judgment that's getting ready to get poured out upon this earth. The Lord is getting ready to unleash his wrath upon the inhabitants of this earth, man, right? These wicked ass people are getting ready to be judged. That's exactly what's getting ready to happen, So I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel, right? Chapter 7. I'm going to pull that out real quickly, so bear with me. And I'll start at verse 3. It says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, right? And how is the Lord going to send out his anger? Ultimately, by all of these various different plagues and things he's going to bring upon the earth, all of the judgments that he's ultimately going to bring forth. That's how he's going to, unleash his anger, his wrath, right? Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, right? The Lord ain't about to have any pity upon the 2/3 of his people, right along with these heathens, right? These people are getting ready to suffer, right? Only those that are going to be sustained, that are going to be preserved in these times that are coming are the Lord's elect, man. That's it, and that's all. They're going to be the ones eating in the time of this great famine that's coming to this earth, man, right? The rest of these people, hey, they're going to be, they're going to be in a pitiful case, man. No better way of saying it, right? So it says, and mine eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, right? And that's exactly what these people are about to know real soon. They're about to know who's bringing the judgment down upon them heavy. When these things really begin to take place and, things begin to, take a turn for the worse, hey, that's when these people are going to know that it's the Lord that's doing these things to them, right? Because when, hey, it ain't no food in these stores and all hell is breaking loose in the streets and things like that, and these people, stomachs are touching their back, hey, that's when they're going to know, man. These people are going to know that it's the Lord that's bringing judgment upon them, ultimately for their wickedness, man, right? Verse 5, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, and evil and only evil, behold, is come, man, right? I'm going to read that in the NLT. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Disaster after disaster is coming your way, man, and that's exactly what's coming to these people, man, right? Nothing but disasters, right? Miseries, right? As it tells you in the book of Second Esdras, right? Chapter 8. I'm going to bring that out. And I'll start at verse 50, right? It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them, right? Talking about the people that in the latter time, which we're in the latter time, that shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And that's exactly what you see going on here, especially in Babylon and Great America. These people are proud. These people are able to go to the stores and get their food, get their resources. They believe in their mind that these things are going to constantly continue to come. They don't believe that the Lord is going to break the staff of bread in this place. These proud American people, they don't believe in their mind that hardship is coming, right? They don't believe adversity is coming. They believe that this, the way that things are going now, that it's going to stay the same, right? Forever. That's what these people really believe. They don't think that sorrows is going to come upon this place, but hey, it's getting ready to come, soon come, What does it say in the 6th chapter? It says, suddenly shall the full storehouses appear unsown, roughly paraphrasing, which I'm going to go ahead and bring that out. 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly, right, when something happens suddenly, that's when you least suspect it. And that's how all of these things that are coming down the pipeline is going to catch these people, is going to catch them suddenly by surprise. Because these people don't know that these things are coming, right? They're just going along with their everyday lives, living it up. They think that just because they can see food on the shelves in their stores now, that it's always going to be there. But no, soon come, all of that stuff is going to dry up, you know? And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? Those storehouses going into these Walmarts, these Krogers, these Save-A-Lots, all of these other different stores that people go to ultimately to get food and, you know, things of that nature, waters, right? All of these places are going to be empty real soon, man. That's what's coming, right? And let me go to verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Verse 24. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. You see, that's how bad it's going to get, right? Because ultimately this famine, right, people not having anything to eat is going to bring the worst out of these people, man, right? You're going to have people out here acting in ways that most people would never think people can behave in. That's what's coming, man. People are going to lose their damn minds, right? But as it tells you in Isaiah 33:6, you know, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, the strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh while Yahweh is his treasure. So the Lord's elect, the men that have this knowledge and wisdom, this understanding, right? They're going to be stable in these times that are coming. Lord's willing, we be of those men with everything that's coming down the pipeline. But the rest of these people, right, 2/3 of our people, the heathen, hey, these people are going to be bugging out when, you know, everything in this place, America, crumbles, right? When life as they know it ultimately comes to an end, right? When ultimately they can't go to the stores and, you know, just waste food and do whatever they do like they do now, right? All of that is going to stop soon come, man, right? When reality sets in for these people, hey, they're going to bug the hell out, you know? That's why these times are going to be so terrible, man, right? That we're in the beginning stages of, which is ultimately the time of Jacob's trouble, because all of this is going to coincide with Jacob's trouble, man, right? So many things are going to be happening at once, man. Famine, pestilence, you know, civil unrest, all of these various things. That's what's coming, you know? At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Yeah, man. And there's knowledge and wisdom, because the springs, right, the waters, right, going into this knowledge, right, is only going to be with the elect, man. They're going to be the ones to have this knowledge. They're going to be the ones to be good in these times, right? But it's going to be pretty much over with for these people, man, right? They're going to be done, right? They're not going to know what to do. That's why these people are going to, you know, just bug out, right? As it tells you in 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, which I got to bring that out. And I'll start at verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And ultimately, this famine that's coming, right along with everything else that's going to be occurring, is going to bring about these times, man. Right, where cities are going to be troubled, chaos is going to be all over these different cities throughout Babylon. People are going to be just looting, losing their mind, doing whatever the hell they see fit to do, right? Verse 19, a man, right, shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? So that's how bad it's going to be out here when these things hit, man, that you're going to have people that been knowing each other for 10, 15 years. Hey, these people are going to be each other's enemies in these times to come, man, right? It's going to be basically survival of the fittest. People are going to have that, you know, they're out for self mentality, which these American people, they're already in that spirit now while everything is still somewhat normal. So how much more when resources and things of that nature become slim, right? These people are going to show their true colors, right? So it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. What is that modern day sword? That's the gun, because that's what these people are going to result to doing. They're going to result to looting, you know, going into these stores, taking what they want, going into people's houses, right? People that are out here prepping and all of that stuff, you know, trying to store up food into their houses for them and their family for these times. And you're going to have people coming in your home taking your shit. That's what's going to be happening, right? And if you don't got Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua with you, right, you're going to be done, man, right? The only way you can ultimately stand in these times that are coming is if the Lord is with you, you know, which he's only going to be with the elect of Israel, the 1/3. You see, that's it and that's all, you know. The rest of these people, they ass is cooked, man, you know. But it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbors, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. and spoil their goods, right? People going to be ransacking people's homes, man, right? Going through your cabinet, going through your refrigerator, going through your whatever, to take whatever they want, man. Taking bags of rice, canned goods, whatever they can get their hands on, because it's going to be a famine. It's going to be a scarcity of food, man. So people are going to be doing whatever they can to survive, right? That's why cannibalism is going to come back, which cannibalism is prophesied in the scriptures, man, and it's going to happen again. That's how bad it's going to get out here, man, that people are going to literally have to resort to eating people and stuff, man, because they're going to be that desperate, man, right? But that's what the heathen and the 2/3 are going to do, right? Because the Lord is going to provide a way for the elect, right, in these times of, great trouble and things that are coming, But it says, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, right, that famine, and for great tribulation. Yeah, the time of Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose, man. Things, hitting the fan. That's what's going to happen, man. People are going to be out here doing whatever, you see. So let me go to the book of Lamentations, man, right? The 4th chapter, right? Because as I was saying, famine, is going to come, and cannibalism is going to ultimately happen in the midst of the famine that's coming. People are going to cannibalize, man, just to stay alive, right? To sustain themselves. This is how bad things are going to get, right? Lamentations chapter 4, verse 8. It says, their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. And that's how you're going to have people out here in Babylon the Great looking real soon. A lot of these people that we walk past on the day-to-day of our lives, seeing in this world, people that are obese and things like that. Hey, these people are going to be real skinny real soon, man. And a lot of these people, they need to go without eating. You see these big Shirleys and big Keishas out here, that are eating all this damn food. Hey, these people need a famine, so they can get, smaller and lose some damn weight, man. But hey, that's what the Lord is going to bring upon these people, man. Famine, right? He's going to break the staff of bread here in modern Egypt, which is America, man, and ultimately throughout the world, But it says, verse 9, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, right? So it's better to perish by the sword than to perish of hunger, right? Because ultimately, if you perish by the sword, which the sword is just any killing instrument, right? Ultimately, it's going to be a quick death. But ultimately, the perish of hunger, right, or by famine, right, not having anything to eat is ultimately going to be a slow and painful death, because your body is going to be eaten from within itself. You're going to be deteriorating. It's going to be terrible, man. And that's what's coming to a lot of these people. You see, this is what Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai has in store, to bring forth judgment. It says, for these pine away stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field. Verse 10, the hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Let's read that in the NLT, right, which is the New Living Translation. And it says, tender-hearted women have cooked their own children. They have eaten them to survive the siege. And that's what's going to happen again, man, right? It's going to be that bad to where you're going to have people literally eating each other, man. That's how bad this famine is going to be out here, man. People going to have to resort to doing things like that, man. Right? Not the elect, but, the 2/3 and the heathen, right? These people are going to be out here bugging the hell out, man. Losing their mind, right? But as it tells us in the book of Job, the 5th chapter, which I'm bringing that out, and I'll start at verse 19, Job 5 and 19, KJV. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Verse 20, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. The Lord is going to do this for the elect, right? The elect of Israel, right? Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. Verse 22. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth, right? So the Lord's elect, they're going to laugh in the time of famine. And why are they going to laugh in the time of famine? Because guess what? As it tells you in 2nd Esdras, right, the 2nd chapter, which I'm going to go to that, and I'll go to verse 27. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble in heaven is coming, right? And these are going to be the days of trouble, man, when all of these things happen. Right? Be not weary, for when the day of trouble in heaven is cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, right? But thou shalt be merry and have abundance, right? And let's go into the meaning of that word abundance, right? Abundance meaning, right? And we want to see what pops up on the AI overview. And it says abundance refers to a large quantity, an ample supply, or the state of having more than enough of something, right? And that's exactly what the Lord's elect are going to have. That's why they're going to laugh in the time of famine, man, because they're going to have more than they can eat, man, right? The Lord is going to be doing all type of miracles and providing a way for the hopeful elect men and the hopeful elect ladies out there that are sincere, the believers, right? He's going to be coming through on their behalf, making sure that they eat, making sure that they got what they need, right? The Lord is going to be doing these things for his remnant, man, right? And let me actually end up going to the book of Isaiah chapter 65, right? Bring that out. And I'll start at verse 13, you see. And it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And when it says ye shall be hungry, ye shall be thirsty, and ye shall, be ashamed, that's going into ultimately the 2/3 of our people, right? Our people that despise the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? As it tells you in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same as Lord at the death by pain. And that's what's going to come to the 2/3 of our people, death by pain. And that pain is going to come in the way of all of these things that the Lord is sending, right? Tifa, wild beasts, famines, pestilences, sicknesses, all type of things, man. That's what's getting ready to get poured out here soon, So I'm going to read verse 14 as well. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And that's going to be the spirit of these 2/3, man, right? The majority of our people that despise the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, they scoffed the men of the Lord. They thought that everything we were telling them about, according to the Bible, that's coming, when these things actually come, these people are going to be sick, man. They're going to be wishing that they would have listened to the men of the Lord, man. But it's going to be too late for these people, right? So let me go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. I'll start at verse 8. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away, right? Who is ultimately going to be able to stop these things that the Lord is bringing, right? We know that the answer to that is no one, man, right? And I'm going to go down to verse... Salakia. For the 2nd Esdras 16. And I'll start at verse 21. 2nd Esdras 16 and 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, right? Victuals going into food, right? Which, guess what? Things are still somewhat cheap, because guess what? You can still go to the store, even though the price of things are going up. You can still go to the store and get you some food, right? But the time is coming where, people are going to go to the store. You ain't going to be able to get food, because there ain't going to be no damn food, right? Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, right? And the reason we know these things are coming soon, because you already got them talking about the oil crisis, right? They've been talking about the oil crisis for the last few weeks heavily, right? Talking about how oil is running out and things like that in these trucks, right? That ultimately delivers goods, groceries and, food and water and things like that to these stores, right? That keeps them running. Right, they're talking about these trucks and things like that are not going to have enough oil due to the shortage that they're talking about that's coming. So, all of this is going to tie into the famine, man, that's coming. And ultimately, these terrible times that are coming. That's what all of this that we see going on is going to bring about. You see, the days of trouble, man. You see, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, right? And that's the spirit that these people are in right now. They can go to the store and eat their face, eat their face to oblivion with all the food they got. So these people are comfortable. They don't think a famine is coming, because they can still go to Walmart and see a bag of chips on the shelf. So in their mind, we gonna always have food. I don't got to worry about nothing, right? We good. That's the mindset of these people. You see, it says that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So that's what's coming, man. Right? But like I brought out the scriptures, the Lord is going to be with his elect, man, in the time of this famine that's coming. The elect will eat, right? And I'm going to bring out a few more scriptures just touching on that. And we'll get ready to close out, right? Because as King David said in Psalms, the 37th chapter, which I'll bring that out real quick. And I'll go to verse 19. It says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, right? The elect are not. And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. Let's read that in the NLT. They will not be disgraced in hard times. Even in famine, they will have more than enough, right? Going into what I brought out earlier, you know, second Esdras, the second chapter, right? When the days of heaviness and trouble cometh, right? The elect are going to have abundance, man, right? Having, a large amount of, you know, things to keep them stable and to keep them good, right, in these times of trouble, right? Having more than enough food, man, resources, things of that nature. The Lord is going to be providing for them, right? But I'm going to go down to verse 25. It said, I have been young and now I'm old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread, man. So, right, hey, this is what King David said, you know, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is definitely going to come through on the behalf of his elect, right? In these times of famine that's coming, right? The elect are going to eat, you know. That's why, as it tells you in Matthew, the 6th chapter, which I'll bring that out. And I'll start at verse 25, right? And it says, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Which we know that none of us can do that at this moment, right? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai so clothed the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth, right, that ye have need of all these things, right? So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai knows that we need food to be sustained, that the human body can only go so long without water and things of that nature. The Lord knows these things. So guess what? He's going to provide us with these things when these things are ultimately hard to access. He's going to be providing ways for us to, you know, ultimately have these things. He's going to be taking care of us, right? Lord's willing, we be at that number, you see. So with that being said, Lord's willing, I pray this lesson be edifying to you brothers and you sisters out there, the hopeful elect that may come across it. With that being said, I'm going to end the video by saying Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. To the next time, Kwam Yasharallah and Shalom to the Lord's elect, and double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone. To the next time, I'm going to say Kwam Yasharallah and Shalom to the Lord's elect. Shalom.